Eugene, your year couldn't have ended any better, being voted best gym, best coach. How important is that to you?
Well, not that important to me, I feel, but important to some of the other people where it matters a bit more, particularly the team. I think recognition of how hard this team's worked to put itself on the map and get onto the international stage. It's just kind of like, not validation, but kind of like it just ticks the box for them and being like, oh man, we've been working hard here from the top of the team, from the top of the team to the bottom of the team. Everybody's been working hard to get us to the position where we are voted Gym of the Year. I think it's just good for the guys to see that, and I hope they feel a little bit proud because it's on the back of their hard work that they're able to win the biggest award in the sport, like that award's considered, yeah.
And it's not just awarded by two people with a bit of bias.
Yeah, that's the thing about this award. It's a fan-voted award. So it's basically like a poll, and then fans from all over the world just come in and vote who they think is the best gym. So it's something I never thought like a little gym in New Zealand would ever win. Like we've been up in the running for this award like multiple years, but never won it. I just think that the main kind of fan base and the power base for this sort of thing is in America, so you're never going to beat off an American, established American gym. So it just goes to show the impact that this little gym has like made internationally, where you can win an award like that. Ultimately, you need both awards because of that bias, because it's because the MMA fan base and the voting base is mainly in America. You also need like expert panel awards and like awards from people that know what they're doing, and you kind of get a bit of both. And we've won those awards before, but this is just an award I never thought we'd be able to pick up, just because we're just small fish over here and down here in the Pacific, competing with a lot of bigger name gyms with bigger populations. So it's quite humbling. Yeah.
I know it's going to be a very difficult question, but is there something that stands out as a highlight? I know there's so many of them, but can you put one achievement above the others for the whole year?
I mean, this might be some recency bias, but the last UFC we had and some people are not going to understand that because Israel and Brad lost, but then Dan and Carlos won. But sometimes the achievement is not necessarily in the result. Sometimes the achievement is in the journey to get to that place, and sometimes you fall up short on the result. But there's always a bigger picture when you do a camp like that and you make improvements and stuff. And if you're looking at the bigger picture of where those fights, even the fights that we lost and the camp that we endured, where that gets you in terms of the next place on the chessboard, I'm tremendously happy with that and proud of where the guys are at after that camp, after that fight.
Before we move on to Perth and that, there's one question I've got to ask, and that is Brad. Have you heard from Brad where Brad is and what's he doing?
Haven't heard too much from Brad, which I'm happy to say that I haven't heard too much from Brad in a positive way. Look, for Brad to ever find his way back to the sport, which I'm sure a lot of his fans and supporters and even a lot of the guys at the gym, for Brad to find his way back to the sport, he has to leave the sport. He'll never find his way back to the sport if he has one foot in the door and or if he goes away and says, oh, maybe I'll come back in 6 months, or maybe I'll come back in 12 months, it's like, you'll never find your way back. To reignite his hunger and his passion for the sport and get him back to where he left off, you have to separate yourself. It has to be a clean kind of cut, clean slice. So my best advice for him is to, just move on with the next part of his life, enjoy his family. Like I said to him, he'll be successful at whatever he puts his mind to. That's just the kind of person he is. If he does that, then he'll give himself the best chance of finding his way back into the sport, I think. Rather than, being half in and half out. I think that's how you truly will be able to recapture yourself. So, in that respect, no, I haven't heard too much from Brad, and I'm glad I haven't heard too much from Brad. I'm glad he's just out there living his best life. Yeah.
Cool. Couple of additions to, well, I know there's a lot more than a couple, but I spoke to JANAY Harding earlier on, a new addition to the gym here, and with a Bellator fight coming up in the new year. Tell us a little bit about her.
Look, JANAY's, I know a little bit about JANAY. Like, she's come over here and done trained for a little bits and pieces, maybe just testing if she liked the environment. And I've watched all of her fights because she's Kiwi, so I'm always interested in her fights. And she wanted to train at the gym, and I suggested to her what I felt the best avenue to do that was, and that was the same suggestion I give everybody, and that is that you need to establish yourself over here. You need to live here. You'll get the most out of the gym if you live here, establish yourself here, and spend some time in here. So no knowledge that we pass on, or no knowledge we give you can be kind of, it's hard to acquire it and master it in 8 weeks or 12 weeks. You have to be here in it, and you have to be doing the repetition every day and going through it. She took that on board. She moved herself over here. She got a place. I was just talking to her before. She's got a car, so she's putting down some roots. She's getting to know the team. She's very easy to get on with. I know she already gets on with a lot of the girls and some of the guys, and that'll come. That'll get better and better, and she'll just go through a lot of the journey that some of these guys from other countries go through. But she's got the added advantage of actually not being from another country, because she's been living in Australia, but she's definitely Kiwi through and through, a Māori. So hopefully she can, get rid of that Aussie twang that's in her voice a little bit, get her more into sounding like a Kiwi, as well as just make her a better fighter. That's the goal, and she has a fight coming up early in the first quarter that she's preparing for in Ireland. So she goes into camp, full-on camp, very soon. So she's so far she's excellent. She's done everything I asked her. She's a pleasure to be around. So she's a welcome addition to the team. Yeah.
Well, you've got another Aussie import here, Eugene and TYSON PEDRO.
Tyson's back. He's fighting in Perth with Kai and Volk. So he's here, and he's been here for a few weeks now. He's just started camp, proper full camp. He came a few weeks earlier just to get the body acclimatized and get ready. But yeah, he's looking pretty good. And we'll whip him into shape and get a bit of a plan going. We've already kind of started on that, and he's got another dangerous opponent, Ming Zhang. Yeah, a dangerous opponent who's new to the UFC, a good striker, so another good challenge for TYSON. That he can, it's it's going to be a challenge, just like every fight is in the UFC. But this guy has some good abilities on his feet, so we're preparing like we always do.
Yeah. Happy.
Yeah, Tyson, he's great. Like he fits in well with the boys. You know, like if anyone here is, you know, like the Aussies, you know, like, and he's a Pacific Islander, so he gets on well with everybody here, and we're close. You know, like a Kiwi bloke and Aussie bloke aren't that too far apart. It's not like when the French guys come over. It's not like when the French come over, you got to spend like 2 years like teaching them what a sense of humour is and all of that. Like when the Aussies come over, they're a lot easier to kind of like get into the team and just get into the swing of things. Yeah.
Volk and Joe, are they coming over at all?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think because the fight's based in Australia, there's no need to come over here. I think that everything is going great. I talked to Joe yesterday. Volk's looking great. Camp's looking great. Frank's over there. Volk's just gone to Thailand, I believe, to do a couple of weeks there. So yeah, we'll just meet up in Perth and get the job done. But yeah, just in communication with those guys.
Did you get anybody else on the card? Because I know you were talking about Shane and Blood, and hopefully, and Dan was even mentioned at one stage.
Yeah, that card filled up pretty fast, so it doesn't look like there'll be anyone on it, unfortunately. But that's just the nature of, you know, when you have the UFC missing from this region for so long, you've got every cat and their dog like trying to get on the card. So it was always going to be a full card and hard to get on. So yeah, just Volk, Tyson and Kai, it looks like for now. But I do have 3 guys on Eternal the day before, which will be really interesting. I got Kevin, Talo and John on Eternal, which is in Perth the night before. So yeah, a bit of a team going over there as usual.
How is Carlos recovered from his win? Is he looking for something pretty early in the new season?
Yeah, Carlos will be fighting in the first quarter. He needed a little bit of time off just to get the mind and the body like feeling better again. And I think he's made I think he was in Tahiti as a special guest for the fight night that they just had in Tahiti. He was a special guest there, so he might still be there. And then he's gonna spend some time in Brazil because his partner's Brazilian, and then he's going to head back here and he's going to get into it. So I think that's a well-earned break. So I think he should take that break and get some good rest. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, I know how good this year was. What would you like to see happen in 2023?
More fights. The fights didn't come as thick as fast as I wanted them this year, but there was still a lot of people, promoters and stuff, still kind of recovering and trying to like get on their feet again. And there wasn't as many fights available, but hopefully by next year, like all the promotions are back in the full swing of things. And we made the most of it. Like we worked on, the team worked on a lot of skills that needed development. But now it's time for some of those skills to be used in competition. So I would just like to see the guys fighting more. We've done enough training through the last 2 or 3 years and leveled up different areas that we felt needed work, and so we're just ready to get out there and fight now. Yeah.
I always ask you this one. Any new names on the UFC roster expected next year?
Yep. Yeah, I think there'll be a couple of new names in there, and that's just based on just the progress of some of these young guys coming up. You just have to believe in doing something. Well, obviously you have to believe in the system, But then you have to believe in just consistency and doing something every day, whether you feel like doing it or not feel like doing it, but having the discipline to come in and do it every day. That's the recipe or the formula for excellence. And that's all I ask of these young guys. Just come in every day, whether you're feeling up or down, no matter what you're feeling, whether you feel like you're progressing or whether you feel like you're in a slump. Just consistency is the key to excellence. And I just feel like a lot of guys have held on to that message, and they're now on the back of training, 1, 2, 3 plus years consistently, as well as fighting. Like they've just gotten so good. There's some guys in here that are amazing that the world's never heard of, and they can do have a serious impact on the international scene. Now it's just getting them the opportunity to show off. Yeah.
At the moment, you've got the world amateur champion here in FERGUS Jenkins. Yeah. Just your opinion about him and his future as a professional athlete?
Oh no, Fergus has got a big future, and he's just here for a few weeks. Obviously, I get on very well with Carl Webber, who's one of New Zealand's best coaches, and his gym is kind of just shuts down a little bit down in Christchurch, whereas we just keep rolling through. So he thought it was a good idea. Carl's sent Fergus up here a few times before, so he thought it was a good idea for Fergus to spend a bit of time over here at Christmas. Good prep, because he's got to fight early in the first quarter. He's got a tournament. And obviously he gets to roll around with some of the guys and just have the consistency through Christmas and New Year's that maybe isn't available down there, because a lot of them are on holiday. So Carl brought him up here, but as far as his future, it's a very good benchmark. A lot of guys who win those competitions, IMAF competitions, they go on to become very, very good professionals later in life. So Fergus is at the he's at the top of that amateur level. So when Carl decides to turn him pro, I'm sure he will quickly rise to one of the best in this region, and then so on and so forth, just up the ladder. So he got a big future. And one thing I can tell you from here is he's very astute student. Like, he asks questions, listens, he's attentive, and he's consistent, he's always here. So those are the ingredients that you want from someone who's earmarked to do well in the future. Not some of the other attributes that people kind of put on a pedestal, which athleticism, explosiveness and stuff. That's not important. He's got plenty of the important attributes in spades, so he should go a long way. Yeah.
Last question. What does Eugene Bareman do for Christmas Day?
The honest truth of the matter, the honest truth, Tony, is on early Christmas morning, I'll be here with some of the guys that have got fights training. We'll do a Christmas session, earn them some calories so that they can eat a little bit more that night. Then I will have like a brunch with a lot of the people. I don't know if displaced is the right word, but there's a lot of people in Auckland and stuff who just came here for the gym, and they're not going home, and they don't have families and stuff. So I often we have a big brunch and a food, and just spend Christmas together, and then we all go our separate ways and later on that night. So I'll be doing that with all the CKB orphans, training, and then just spending time with my family, and trying not to eat too much myself. That's a good Christmas for me. Yeah.
Hey, thanks very much for everything you've done for Combat TV throughout the year, and I appreciate every word you say.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for everything. Bigger and better things next year, don't you worry. Thanks, Tony.
Cheers, man. Appreciate it.